Yeah, Hell in a Cell, huh?
Yeah, it's that time of year. Although, is it? Because I swear to God, this pay-per-view's been later in the year before. I don't remember it being this early, but I guess it is. I don't know.
It's more like Hell for All because no one, and it's stupid because it's not all in the cage.
Yeah, they were only talking about having. They don't even know if Sheamus Big Show is even going to be in the cell.
It's so stupid. I thought the whole pay per view was in the cell.
No,
So it's just like two matches or something.
or possibly just one.
That's so stupid.
You're telling me. God, card is just.
I don't even know.
It's a nightmare. We have Daniel Bryan and Kane as two of the worst tag team champions I've ever seen, going up against.
Their tag team,
Yeah,
horrible.
they were feuding before.
Yep.
Kane's not able to win a match. He isn't. He can't. He's lost to everybody. Now they're a tag team. They're facing Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow, who would be a good tag team outside of WWE where they could actually be allowed to wrestle, but where they're at, no.
Never even heard of the other guy.
He's just a big. They actually have a cool team name because Cody Rhodes is Rhodes, and this guy's kind of like an academic dude that comes out in a bathrobe. They're the Rhodes Scholars. I know it's cheesy, but they're actually good wrestlers. Um, the Miz lost the Intercontinental title to Kofi Kingston. Apparently, the plan is to have him win it back less than 2 weeks later at Hell in a Cell. Why?
And what's up with these old belts? They all look like from like the 1960s or
Well, no,
something.
they did bring back the White Intercontinental title. That was Cody Rhodes. That was actually cool. I was okay with that. Because, I'd always said the Intercontinental title was too boring. I like the old school. You remember the one Shawn Michaels had, the really nice one when it
Yeah, it
was
was a good
bigger?
one.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes brought that back. But I can't tell you the last memorable IC title reign there was. I mean, Christian was in there, The Miz. No one cares.
No.
And then it doesn't help that the IC champion has been getting killed by Ryback. Back when The Miz had it, he was supposed to. We thought Ryback was going after him. That wasn't the case. It's just awful.
When did this whole Ryback thing start?
Ryback has been doing squash matches for, I want to say, probably the last. I think he was doing this probably about since May, maybe before that. Basically, he's Skip Sheffield using Rob Van Dam's airbrush artist with his permission, of course. You know, cool, kind of singlets. Basically, just a big body.
So Bobby Lashley again.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Bobby Lashley's opponents actually got in moves on him.
Yeah.
This guy goes through entire matches and doesn't even get knocked off of his feet. It's ridiculous.
So Goldberg, basically.
Okay, if you can imagine Goldberg putting someone over any less than he actually did, I don't know that that's even possible, but that's what we're seeing right now. And then what makes no sense to me is they're either going to do this one of two ways. They're either going to have CM Punk put on this miraculous Shawn Michaels and the Hell in a Cell-esque performance. You remember against The Undertaker when everybody thought he was going to get killed, and he really brought the fight to him and hit him with chairs and did everything he possibly could to actually make a fight out of it.
Yeah.
I think they're either going to try to do something like that or pull a Batista versus Randy Orton from Hell in a Cell and just have the match end in 7 minutes with Ryback destroying CM Punk.
See, that gets everybody nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... And the guy's not really that big of a draw. I mean, his music is terrible. He has pyrotechnics added into the music. He has these really loud banging noises in lieu of actual fireworks. TNA is not even cheap enough to do that. I would have
Good
expected
Lord.
that out of TNA or out of
Yeah.
ROH to have
That's-
invisible pyro noises in your music. But no,
That's-
WWE does that. Not to mention piping in cheers to people's music now to get Cena over.
It's a TNA move. Pipe that music in.
Uh, Again, this pay-per-view, as much as we don't like John Cena, we agree he sells tickets, right? He sells pay-per-views. He's not even in a match on the card. So there goes a good portion of your audience anyway.
Yeah.
Your other world title main event is Sheamus versus The Big Show.
Ugh.
Sheamus is more of a lame duck as champion than Barack Obama is as president.
Wow.
He's, I
Uninteresting.
guess he's supposed to be a face, but he's getting booed out of the building. He's terrible. He's not funny. He's not one of those people that can go out and be humorous. He just isn't. The Big Show's funnier than him. Although, Big Show actually always has been kind of funny, so we'll leave that alone. But no one cares about the match at all. We've seen it before, and even if we haven't, we probably have in some other form.
Yeah, forgettable.
Dolph Ziggler, he's one of those people that they're gonna put the belt on him most likely at this pay per view because he has the Money in the Bank thing. But my question is it too late?
I think so. It's like the
Because
Matt Hardy, the Edge. Well, not
no,
Edge,
no,
but
no, no, no,
I meant
definitely
this,
not
like
Edge.
Kennedy, that kind of situation
Because
where.
he's lost so many world title matches and WWE title matches. He wrestled Punk 3 or 4 times at pay per views, like Rumble and whatever. He couldn't win there. He couldn't beat Sheamus once or twice, maybe more. It's like, okay, now you're going to be the world heavyweight champion. His T-shirt design looks like something a 14-year-old would wear. It's light blue and has giant yellow letters on it. It's like what a 14-year-old skateboarder would wear.
Terrible.
It's just so juvenile. And then, to make matters worse, I know nobody probably watches Main Event on Ion, which is like their new Wednesday night show. They had him wrestle Ryback. Oh yeah, the match got to 10 minutes, but that's only because they both ran into the back and he had to drag Dolph Ziggler out by the ear and throw him back into the ring. He got in 3 hits the entire match. Didn't knock Ryback off of his feet. How are you supposed to tell me that your number one contender can't even knock the guy down?
Well, just a little thing there on Island. Apparently, NWA Wrestling's coming on there too.
Thank God, because we need something to save us from this expansion in WWE.
Yeah, but Ziggler, I think the boat sailed on him.
I mean, I was never crazy about him to begin with because every time I look at him, I'm like, "You're Mikey from the Spirit Squad.
Yeah,
Dude. You were a male cheerleader." I don't know. I mean, people make comparisons with him with Mr. Perfect and Rick Rude. I don't even see it.
No, I don't.
I don't even see Mr. Mediocre. I mean, I'm like, you're all right as an IC champion, but I don't want to see you as world champion. Have we really fallen that far off the map that you need a world title?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? At this point, Daniel Bryan was world champion. Anybody can be, I guess. I mean, hell, I'm probably
We're all
win
gonna
it
sign up.
eventually.
What a nightmare.
I mean, if I drew a face on my hand, it would have more charisma than Daniel Bryan, but
What are they building this Skip Sheffield or whatever his name is up to be? Like
backwards.
Is he gonna take on Brock Lesnar or something? Or
You know, I would actually like to see that, but the problem with that is, okay, you have two guys that are too stiff, won't put anybody over, and don't want to get hit in the match. It'll be Hercules Hernandez versus the Ultimate Warrior all over again.
yeah, or Goldberg and Lesnar.
You know
all
what though?
again.
I would be perfectly okay with Lesnar doing that Kimura and snapping Ryback's arm because I can't stand him. He's awful.
Why? I don't know what the end result's
He's
gonna
just a
be.
big Goldberg wannabe. He can't move. I don't even know. It's just awful.
Forgettable.
And then, are they going to have him feud with Cena? That'll be a slop fest. You have two guys that can't wrestle.
What about Ted DiBiase? Is he still around or no?
Ted DiBiase is in the Carmen Sandiego category right
Wow.
now. I don't know where he is. I honestly couldn't tell you.
He was having a DiBiase posse, then I guess they ditched him.
There was a Tyson Kidd sighting. Apparently, he wrestled Daniel Bryan on the Saturday Morning Superstars thing. So apparently, he's not dead or in a hotel room somewhere. So he's around.
It's obvious these guys are going to start getting phased out and probably eventually leaving.
You know what, though? They've been talking about the big round of releases that WWE has every year, and they haven't happened yet for some reason. Because they've had injuries and I guess other things.
Well,
they have more shows now.
They say Linda Hogan's political campaign, they want to be seen to
Linda
the public
McMahon.
as a source of providing jobs. So they want to fire anybody
Well,
yet.
that and the fact that we can thank Linda McMahon's campaign for the PG-rated content of WWE. Because they don't want to do anything
Yeah.
controversial because her Senate opponent's been dragging up stuff from 98 and 99. Stuff that, was it in bad taste? Sure. But was that during the time period where everyone was trying it? Sure. It wasn't as bad as... Okay, yeah, The Undertaker did tie Stone Cold Steve Austin to a cross, but it wasn't like the full-on crucifixion like ECW did.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And then now they're actually talking about The Undertaker not being able to make it for WrestleMania this year.
Probably too banged up.
Well, yeah, his hip replacement apparently got damaged extremely badly in the last match with Triple H, so he might not even be able to work Mania this year.
Yeah, I leave the guy alone for a while. Let him heal up. If he'll ever do it again.
Yeah, the whole end of an era thing, they really could have built it up better and had him wrestle somebody else in a rematch, but if it's the end of the line, it's the end of the line. What are you going to do?
I wish him in that Michaels match was the end. Like that, the first good one.
No, you know what? I really like the second one. I know a lot of people love the first match, and I do too, but in my mind, the second one just had higher stakes because it was a career-threatening match. It was the main event of WrestleMania that year.
But he got hurt. That's what killed it.
Who?
Undertaker. You could see
Oh
his
yeah,
knee
he.
or something buckled out, and then he couldn't do anything the whole match.
Oh no, no. I think that actually helped because you that moonsault was one of the most visceral things I've seen in wrestling. When he lands on the Undertaker's leg and he just screams like that, and the jumping tombstone, that was a perfect way to end it. That was a good match. No, I kind of prefer the second one because the first one kind of just had a feel of okay, we've seen it before.
I loved it though. It was just endless. Like just
In both matches, though, they both went for their finisher way too many times. That's what I hate about WWE. That's all they know how to do. They just do a string of finishers, counters, and then kicking out of finishers.
there's no in ring match. It's terrible. It's really bad.
Yeah, and not a lot of them know how to brawl outside the ring either and make it entertaining.
I remember that was a thing to do back in like '99, 2000. They used to have always matches like that would just
But they had people who
brawl
could
on
do
the
it.
outside for
Like
hours.
Bret Hart, as much as Bret Hart was the technical wrestler, when he got outside the ring, he was arguably better because you remember he had the figure four. He could do it around the ring post. He could work on somebody's legs like that.
He'd always hit like
The barricades and
guardrail,
everything,
yeah.
and the stairs. I mean, he had his little spots that he did, but they were effective. I remember him and Bulldog. That's where they had a majority of their one match,
Yeah, I'd
and
say
it was
was
really good.
was that like, in your house '95?
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a good match.
Yeah, before he faced the Undertaker at Royal Rumble. Yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty good.
but yeah, I mean, it's just a really lackluster card.
Kind of always is though, huh?
Well, I mean, put it this way: even die-hard WWE fans would be really tempted to pass on this one just because of the sheer lack of star power and the lack of interest.
Yeah, I see. This is the problem. There's too many pay-per-views. You know.
That and you have no mid card really. You have no tag team division. You have Del Rio fighting Orton. Who cares? Randy Orton is a good guy. Is one of the biggest wastes of talent I've ever seen. There are certain people that are just better as heels and certain people that are better as good guys. You can't turn Sting heel. You can't turn Randy Orton face. They never work.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it really is. And then they're counting on The Rock coming back in January and either fighting Punk or Cena, or they had talked about doing him and The Undertaker for Mania, which I'd love to see, but it's not going to happen because The Undertaker's too banged up.
I think Austin wants to fight. That
Punk?
one. Yeah, I
don't
see
think
that
he can,
happening.
though.
Yeah, I know. I know the will's there. I don't know if
Yeah, but in my mind, do they really want to go the TNA route? Do they really want to have me? Yeah, he's Stone Cold Steve Austin. I get that. That's great. But you're telling me that somebody 50 years old is going to be able to go in there and hang with the so-called best in the world technical wrestler? It's not believable.
I know. But they'll bank on it. They'll do it. I bet you.
And
They're gonna pull. I think this year's WrestleMania is gonna be a lot of marquee guys like Triple H, Brock Lesnar, The Rock. If Taker can make
I
it,
don't even consider Brock Lesnar a marquee guy, though. I mean, he's somebody that shows up, acts like a spoiled brat,
Yeah,
does
he's not
whatever
very nice.
he wants, quits when he wants, signs limited contracts. He's not a company guy. I mean, people will say the same thing about Jericho, but Jericho always does what WWE asks of him. He puts people over, he loses. Lesnar will have a fit about anything.
I did thank Brock Lesnar over and over again at Extreme Rules for giving that beatdown that took 8 years to see. God bless him.
Yeah, he really clubbed Cena like a baby seal. I mean, he beat him from pillar to post and almost ripped his arm off like a chicken wing.
Yeah,
That was entertaining.
that made my like I guess 8 or 10 years of John Cena worth it just to watch that match and getting him just pulverized and beaten to a pulp. That's what all the guys wanted to see. That's what every male wants to see happen to John
Although,
Cena.
you know what, though? It's equally as empowering to watch John Cena attempt to have a technical match with somebody that just ends up refusing to carry him. Perfect example. Do you remember the TLC match between him and Edge?
Oh God.
And Cena kept screwing up, bouncing off the turnbuckle, and Edge finally just gave up and power slammed him through a table because he had enough.
And he does this goofy thing where like he punches, but his legs go sideways. They look crooked and bow-legged. It's just awful.
Yeah, he's not any good. But I mean, I agree. He's a draw. He's a nice guy. We've talked about that many times. But I don't know. I mean, the wrestling just isn't there, and I wish the fans were different. I wish kids actually knew what good wrestling was, and they could watch another company and not have to have it be the stupid, kid-friendly, Sin Cara, mask-wearing, god-awful. I don't even know how to describe
What
it.
a wasteful contract he is. He's always hurt.
All that, and he botches everything and hurts people. He almost killed Dolph Ziggler at a pay-per-view. Not that I really care. That's not really a big loss, but
How long's Sin Cara even been there?
I don't know.
2 years.
Oh, he showed up at the end of right after WrestleMania 2 years ago. Yeah,
Mm.
So we've been dealing with that garbage for 2 years. Thank God they haven't even made him IC champion yet because he doesn't
Oh,
deserve it. He doesn't deserve much of anything.
no.
But yeah, it's just I don't really see it getting any better. Okay, you put the title on Ryback. Now what? What's he gonna do? Who's he gonna feud with? I mean, does somebody really want to pay for a 7-minute main event? Because that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I don't. So I think we could write off Hell in the Cell as garbage.
Oh yeah, there's
No
no way. I mean,
surprise.
CM Punk is the most overrated wrestler I've ever heard of. Don't get me wrong, we were all on board with him in his promo. He went out and had one good match with Triple H after that because his other two main events, I don't care what anybody says about that Money in the Bank main event and how it's the first 5-star match since 1998. People only said that was a 5-star match because of the people involved.
Yeah.
It was any long John Cena match. It involved a lot of headlocks, and people just wanted to see CM Punk win. That's the only reason they rated that match 5 stars. It was mediocre at best. If anything, Punk's best match recently was WrestleMania against Jericho. But that was because of Jericho, not because of Punk.
Yeah.
He's just not that good. He weighs in on everything, whether it has anything to do with him or not. He takes shots at TNA, who, I mean, hey, you couldn't make it work over there, that's your problem. Granted, they missed out on you, but, at the same time, you weren't really lighting people on fire when you were in the ring either.
Speaking of the WWE and TNA, there are ongoing lawsuits happening, but we think Ric Flair is coming back. They say next week on Raw, which would be the, 29th of October.
Who
So,
cares?
yeah, it's another old bald guy.
Outside of South Carolina and North Carolina, does anybody in 2012 honestly give a damn about Rick, I need a paycheck Flair?
Nope,
I mean,
I don't.
thank you for what you've done to your business, but it's time to go.
I know.
Unless you're going to be a manager for somebody, I mean, maybe they'll have a manager manage Dolph Ziggler. God knows that man needs a rocket just to try to get over, but
I don't understand why he never brings the Four Horsemen back as the manager. I mean, I don't. He did Fortune. That was horrible.
well, it's a little tough for them to try to shoot a spot at a retirement home. That's probably why.
I mean, there's some young guys that could,
No,
benefit from it.
no, Chris, there are no young guys that are even worthy of Ric Flair. No, I'm sorry. There's
I know some.
not in WWE. There's no one that can make that
Or
work.
TNA.
No
yeah.
one. Nobody. There's no stars anymore. It's just bereft of talent, bereft of wrestling ability. There's nobody like Kurt Angle. There's nobody like Chris Benoit. They don't have that solid technical presence in WWE.
No.
They just let everybody do what they want. They have 15-minute main events.
Sloppy.
It's awful.
Ugh. So, what are they gonna do with Paul Heyman now? Is he managing Lesnar? Or?
He's managing Punk, and then I don't know if they're going to set up a feud between Lesnar and Punk. The problem is Lesnar doesn't have any more dates until supposedly the Rumble or WrestleMania, so you can't use him.
See, what a waste, huh?
Well, that's his decision and WWE's. They can't cry poor after all the money they made on WrestleMania this year. They can afford him. He just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah. It's kind of like a,
And you know what? Every time I see Paul Heyman, I just think to myself, wow, I understand you're collecting a paycheck. I understand you're making more. But to see how far you've fallen, even since 2005 when you were, general manager of SmackDown and that was good, now that you're just Paul Heyman and, they're dragging this out, they're not, I mean, you created ECW and now you're just doing whatever you can for the company that did the most aside from WCW to destroy and tarnish its legacy. They replaced ECW, a good solid product, when they had Van Damme and they had all those guys. You would at least get one good 15, 20-minute match on Sci-Fi. And they replaced it with NXT?
terrible.
With a faction that lasted less than a year, and now you have Wade Barrett coming back with a beard and an elbow as a finishing maneuver is the only one relevant except for Ryback, who's not even originally who he was before.
Is that show even on still?
Oh yeah, it's not on TV, but it's like their web show or whatever. And they have all these people that everyone raves about because they're the darlings of the independents from ROH that I've never even heard of. I mean, Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, I don't know who you are.
I wonder when they taped it.
Dean Ambrose, I've never heard of these people.
What if they taped it off Raw or after that or something?
They do it during SmackDown, I think.
But so it's a web show now. Oh boy.
Yeah, and they do a lot of stuff with FCW and stuff. I don't know who any of these people are. I know who Antonio Cesaro is because he used to be on ROH, but I don't know who these other people are.
Yeah, I don't think that gimmick's working out too well for him.
Cesaro? He's U.S. champion. I mean, put it this way: of all the people in WWE, he's one of the few with potential. He's U.S. champion. He can wrestle.
We need to do another podcast about the belts too. How they're dwindled so bad.
They are, and a lot of people are calling for the WWE title and the world title to be united, but I don't think you can do that just because you'll be so sick of CM Punk as champion, you'll just change the channel.
I like what they did before when the champion would go from Raw and SmackDown and they found the belt.
Well, yeah, but the thing is though, they're trying to do that now because a lot of SmackDown guys show up on Raw just because no one watches SmackDown.
Yeah.
But they still have two belts. But they made it abundantly clear that they don't give a damn about the Raw Heavyweight title. I can't tell you how many times that belt has opened the show. I could not believe 2 straight WrestleManias in a row that was the first match. I was flipping out.
Yeah, it's the WCW title, essentially.
Number one, you had Daniel Bryan as champion this year going into WrestleMania. Number 2, you had him lose in 18 seconds. That's ridiculous.
Is it still the original belt? Looks like the same.
Yeah, that one's the same. They're supposed to redesign the WWE title, but they haven't done it yet.
I think I like the '98 one when they changed it.
But yeah, that was cool. I like the Winged Eagle too.
Yeah.
I didn't like the spinner. I mean, the whole bling movement and everything is over. Cena's not as over as he was before. It just ended. But yeah, that's WWE. That's all I got on that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm Peck.
I'm Chris.
Don't order Hell in a Cell.